Hi there, my name is Greg Beneteau and I'm the editor-in-chief of Imprint, the student newspaper at the University of Waterloo. This is our fifth in a series of 5 videos interviewing candidates running in Kitchener-Waterloo in this 2011 federal election. Today I have with me the incumbent and MP for Kitchener-Waterloo, who is running for the Conservative Party, and his name is Peter Braid. Hello, Mr. Braid. It's nice to meet you.
Great to be here, Greg. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Not a problem. We're heading into the sort of home stretch of this campaign. All of the party leaders have had a chance to talk to Canadians about what they think this campaign should be about. In your opinion, at the local level, what does this campaign mean to you?
Well, a couple of important points. First of all, both at the national and the local level, I think this election is about a focus on jobs and economic growth and continuing our economic recovery, as I say, both nationally across the country and here in Kitchener-Waterloo. That's what I'm hearing at the door as I knock on now almost 6,000 doors across the riding of Kitchener-Waterloo. The number one concern and the number one issue is jobs and the economy. Secondly, for me, as the incumbent member of Parliament, it's about talking to people about my record of accomplishment for the community, about the results that I've delivered, and a commitment to my constituents that I will return to Ottawa and continue to work hard on their behalf and on behalf of our community.
As the incumbent who is running again, what can you say that you've brought to the riding in the past 4 years?
We are an important community. We're the center of innovation. We have 3 major educational institutions, the University of Waterloo, Wilfrid Laurier, and Conestoga College, important financial services organizations, and of course our world-leading high-tech companies. I have, with the support of my colleagues in Ottawa, brought unprecedented support from Ottawa to this community to support education. In fact, right here on the University of Waterloo campus, I'm very proud of 2 signature projects that have come through our knowledge infrastructure program. New buildings for the Faculty of the Environment, for the Faculty of Math, and the Faculty of Engineering. Down the road at Laurier, we saved the Laurier pool and extended the life of that Olympic-sized pool for another 15 to 20 years to help students at Laurier and families with swimmers in our community. We've made investments in affordable housing. We've made investments in our innovation and high-tech sector. We have a commitment in our recent budget that unfortunately wasn't passed for $50 million of renewed funding for the Perimeter Institute in Waterloo so that they can continue their world-leading research into physics.
For students, what tends to be at the top of the minds of many students is the cost of tuition and the affordability and accessibility and quality of education. How would the Conservative government address these issues?
Our government established the Canada Student Loan Program for low and middle income students. We made scholarships and bursaries tax-free. We implemented a textbook tax credit. And again, with our recent budget, and I met directly with students from the University of Waterloo who wanted this proposal advanced, we proposed to enhance the Canada Student Loan Program by, for example, doubling the work exemption that allows for a certain level of income under the Canada Student Loan Program. By working in partnership with student groups from the University of Waterloo and national student associations, I was able to advocate for that important change to the Canada Student Loan Program, and I look forward to getting back to Ottawa so that we can pass the budget which has further supports and assistance for post-secondary students.
So Waterloo in the last little while has been known as a real tech town because of the presence of companies like Research in Motion. How would the Conservatives address research and development to continue to promote advancements in these kinds of jobs?
Our government has provided unprecedented levels of support to science and technology. And right here in Kitchener-Waterloo as well, we have important federal government programs like SHRED and IRAP that support the work of high-tech companies. I've mentioned the $50 million renewed funding commitment for the Perimeter Institute so that they can continue their important scientific research. Similarly, we've made investments into the Institute for Quantum Computing. We've also created the Canada Excellence Research Chairs across the country. Under the previous Liberal government, our country had a brain drain. Under our government, we've had a brain gain, and we've been attracting some of the world's leading researchers and professors and experts, for example, in the area of quantum computing, where we have right here at the University of Waterloo a Canada Excellence Research Chair that we managed to recruit from the United States, from MIT. As well, the new organization that we created, FedDev Ontario, which is the Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario, also has a key focus on supporting startup companies by providing assistance to angel investors, for example, so that the next RIM can be developed as well.
How would the Conservative government address keeping our healthcare accessible and of high quality for the next generation?
This is one of the key policy issues facing our country. The Conservative government will work closely with the provinces as the health accords need to be rediscussed and renegotiated for 2014. We've made a clear commitment that we support a strong public healthcare system, and the key components of our healthcare system that we particularly highlight are accessibility and universality. Those are non-negotiable, and we need to find through the public healthcare system innovative ways. Again, we're known for innovation here in this community. We need to continue to find through the public system innovative ways to continue to deliver healthcare services.
So in terms of the environment, a lot of students expressed concern that Canada is lagging behind in its commitment to combating climate change, and concerns about the quality of air and water, as well as safety of the food system.
I believe that climate change is one of the most fundamental issues of our time. Canada has shown leadership on this file. We have signed the Copenhagen Accord, which is such an important accord to deal with greenhouse gas emissions around the world. And it's so important and so much more effective than the previous Kyoto Protocol, because the major emitters are now signatories to the accord. They're now involved in the solution. This is a global problem that requires a global solution. Canada only represents 2% of worldwide greenhouse gas emissions, but we still need to take a leadership role, and we need to raise the bar in our own country. And we have a clear goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 17% by 2020. It's the exact same goal as President Obama has in the United States. We're going to meet those goals by taking a sector-by-sector approach to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We've already done that, for example, with the automotive sector, starting with the 2011 model years for cars and light trucks. We have very stringent tailpipe emission standards. And with each subsequent year, from 2011 to 2016, those tailpipe emission standards get more and more stringent. Again, we will go sector by sector and deal with this issue by regulation.
You've had a chance to caucus under a government that's led by Prime Minister Stephen Harper. What do you think makes him the most effective leader to lead a government after May the 2nd?
Well, this is a Prime Minister Harper, who listens to the members of his team, to the members of his caucus. I've been honored with the opportunity for input that I've been able to provide, and the impact that I've had for the community of Kitchener-Waterloo. For example, the renewed funding commitment for the Perimeter Institute in our recent budget, I was directly involved in. This morning, the Prime Minister made an announcement in Newfoundland, which is a policy commitment where we will install defibrillators in every hockey arena across the country to help save lives. And this was a suggestion that I advocated for in caucus. Our country has been through some challenging economic times. the greatest recession since the Depression of the 1930s. I can think of no other leader that I would want leading Canada and leading our government. This is a Prime Minister who's a strong leader, Prime Minister Harper, who understands the economy, who focuses on that being our number one priority: economic growth, job creation, and the concern for Canadian families.
What have you been doing to encourage youth voters to come out and vote in this election?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I strongly encourage all people to vote, particularly young people. You know, we're so fortunate to, as I say to young people, we're so fortunate to live in Canada, where we have such a deep tradition of democracy. And when you travel around the world to some other countries, you recognize how fortunate we are. It's a right that people need to exercise. I have been encouraging, so I remind young people of that. I have young people involved in my campaign, on my campaign team. I use social media like Facebook and Twitter to make sure I'm reaching out, and I have two-way communication with young people. As the Member of Parliament, I speak to schools. I go into high schools, I go to universities, and even I speak to students who aren't yet 18, but I speak to them because I want them to understand the political process, and they're the voters of tomorrow. Lastly, since day one of this campaign, we have been encouraging voting by special ballot, which is a new feature that Elections Canada has provided. The Elections Canada office is right down the road from both Wilfrid Laurier University as well as the University of Waterloo. They have expanded hours of operation, and a student can go any day of the week and vote by special ballot, and we've been encouraging that.
Mr. Braid, I wanted to thank you very much for coming out to speak with me today.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you very much.
So you can see more coverage of the 2011 federal election by going to Imprint's website, www.theimprint.ca. My name is Greg Beneteau, and I'm Editor-in-Chief of Imprint, signing off.